A unique characteristic of some Renaissance libraries was that they were open to the public. These libraries were places where ideas were exchanged, where learning was both pleasurable and beneficial. Free thinking was a hallmark of the age. Academies were formed especially in the northern part of Italy. Nobles such as Cosimo de' Medici served as sponsor or patron. These were hearkened back to Plato's Athenian school of philosophy during the 4th century BCE at Academia, a sanctuary dedicated to Athena, the goddess of wisdom. This highly influenced Renaissance culture and was, likewise, dedicated to higher learning and philosophy. However, it also disturbed dogmatic church leaders. Academy members favored classical culture and pre-Christian pagan ideas and books over the approved doctrine of the Catholic Church. Pope Paul II was an opponent of this humanist learning. He arrested the members of a Roman academy during the late 1400s and he accused them of conspiracy against him and of immorality. Later, they were pardoned upon repentance and was allowed to go free. Here are some famous Renaissance book collectors and humanists, such as Giovanni Boccaccio. He is known as the author of The Decameron. He persuaded librarians from Monte Cassino to open their collection to non-clerical scholars and copied classical Roman works from the monastery and sent them to his bibliophile friend Francesco Petrarch. Jean Rollier de Servan. He collected more than 3,000 books and was a patron of the printer Aldus Manutius and an expert of bookbinders. He also had an obsession for fine bindings with beautifully worked designs. Matthias Corvinus. He is the king of Hungary during 15th century and he built a great library of 3,000 titles in Buda and established the Corvinian Library with his wife, Queen Beatrice of Naples. However, Corvinian Library was destroyed by Turks. During these times, intellectual or religious freedom was seen as licentious, ungodly, and blasphemous. There are notable zealots who were outwardly against this humanistic, intellectual, and religious freedom, such as Bernardino of Siena. He was an Italian priest and a Franciscan missionary. He journeyed around Italy, ministering to the sick, and had his sermons alight with bonfires, consuming mirrors, sculptures of naked figures, gaming tables, chess pieces, fine hats, Greek poetry, and books. Hence the term, bonfire of the vanities. He had died in Naples while on the road to another sermon. Another was Girolamo Savonarola, who was a Dominican priest and an enthusiastic book burner, famed for his hatred of the Renaissance art, who also burned the paintings of Botticelli and Michelangelo, whose works were said to have been reduced to ashes in his pyres. After describing the church as a whore, he was excommunicated for heresy and sedition at the command of Pope Alexander VI. He was hanged and his body burned in the Piazza della Signoria, where he had created his own bonfires. In spite of those zealots, there was a strong love for learning and books, even if ideas contained in these books clashed with the people's beliefs. Desiderius Erasmus, a Dutch philosopher and scholar, said, "When I get a little money, I buy books, and if any is left, I buy food and clothes." Also, Sir Francis Bacon quoted, "Some books are to be tasted, others to be swallowed, and some few to be chewed and digested." And lastly, A. Bartholini, a Danish physician, quoted, "Without books, God is silent, justice dormant, natural science at a stand, philosophy lame, letters dumb, and all things involved in darkness." Court libraries. They contain classical mythology, Christian saints, church fathers, historical events, and scenes from early church struggles and was created by prominent aristocrats of the church at Naples, Modena, and Cesena. There were many notable court libraries, such as Piccolomini Library at the Cathedral of Siena, the Laurentian Library located at Firenze or in Florence. It was designed by Michelangelo for Cosimo de' Medici's grandson, Lorenzo de' Medici, or otherwise known as Lorenzo the Magnificent. Royal and ecclesiastical libraries. Francis Charles V possessed a collection considered one of the largest in Europe. in the church library of Monasterio di San Nicolas de Casole in Italy. However, it was also destroyed by Ottoman Turks in 1480. Pope Nicholas V. His original name was Tommaso Parentuccelli, and he used to be a librarian. He made efforts to create a liberal Renaissance library. He also hired hundreds of scholars to translate Greek works into Latin and succeeding in acquiring various Greek texts. His efforts resulted into a papal library of 9,000 volumes and appointed Giovanni Andrea Bussi as his Vatican librarian. He acquired titles with Giovanni by ordering monasteries to give up works they wanted for the library and purchased outright or borrowed them for copying. But then, he was devastated when the Ottoman Turks captured Constantinople in 1453, cutting off a vital source of classical manuscripts. And in the end, he died not knowing that the Greek scholars from Constantinople would flock to his library. Philip II of Spain founded El Real Monasterio de San Lorenzo del Escorial in northwest Madrid. Escorial is known as Philip II's Palace, which has more than 80 staircases, 9 towers, a church, cloisters, cells, and a library of 40,000 volumes, including several thousand manuscripts, and conceptualized by Philip, a devout Catholic and a scholarly humanist. Frescoes on the hall ceilings illustrate the 7 liberal arts: grammar, rhetoric, logic, geometry, arithmetic, music, and astronomy. It contained banned books confiscated by the Inquisition and included more than 1,800 Arabic titles. The wall system of arranging bookcases or book presses was introduced, in which bookcases standing parallel to walls or against them. But during 1671, fire broke out. The monks threw books out of the windows to save them. However, a flaming banner was also thrown outside, setting many of the salvaged books ablaze.